Ten pomidor jest smaczny.
Ten pomidor jest smaczny. Ten pomidor jest smaczny. Smaczny.
To jest kot.
This is a cat. To jest kot.
Ta kobieta pije mleko.
Kobieta. Kobieta pije mleko. This woman drinks milk.
Ten kot lubi dzieci.
Ten kot lubi dzieci. Dzieci, children. Ten kot. This cat likes children. Boys.
Ten pies je mięso. Ten pies je mięso.
This dog eats meat. Ten pies je mięso. Mięso.
Ta kaczka je chleb.
Kaczka, duck. This duck is eats bread. Ta kaczka je chleb.
To zwierzę je jabłko.
To zwierzę. Zwierzę je jabłko. To zwierzę je jabłko. This animal is eating an apple. Zwierzę. With a nasal final vowel. Zwierzę.
Ten mężczyzna, ta kobieta to dziecko.
Okay. Ten mężczyzna, ta kobieta to dziecko. This man, this woman, this child, and we see the three gender markers. Ten, masculine. Ta, feminine. To, neuter. I wonder where this ten comes from. Ten. The Polish word ten. Oh yeah, let me get our books ready. There we go. Polish people. T from so. Where does the N come from? Accusative singular, tego, used for masculine plural. Masculine inanimate, ten. Okay. Not quite as much detail as I want. This dog, ten pies, is eating meat. Je mięso. So.
To jest jajko.
Jajko. This is
Jajko.
egg. Jajko. This mouse likes cheese. Ta mysz lubi cheese. Ser. Dziewczynka, girl. This is also in the feminine class, as well as being a feminine person. This man, ten, mężczyzna, mężczyzna. This woman, ta kobieta, to dziecko. To dziecko. This child. This is tasty fish. To? Right. Smaczna ryba. To jest smaczna ryba. To jest smaczna ryba. And welcome back to Lango Institute. I'm your VerbAlly, doing a bit more Polish today. I'm on a kind of a Polish streak lately. But when you drop in, let me know what you're interested in. And if you're new to us, we're a language school in Dallas. We teach English, Korean, Spanish, Chinese, French, German, Japanese, Portuguese, Italian, on-site and online. that woman. So that's going to be tamta. Tamta with an M? Yes. Tamta. Kobieta is drinking juice. Pije. Pije. Suk. Sok. Pije sok.
Tamten mężczyzna, tamta kobieta, tamto dziecko.
Thumb syllable is the same for the distal one, pointing away. That man, that woman, that child. Tamten mężczyzna, tamta kobieta, tamto dziecko. That child, tamto dziecko, is drinking milk. Pije mleko.
Tamten pomidor jest smaczny.
Tamten. Masculine. Pomidor. Tomato. Yes. Smacz. And the masculine agreement here is the letter Y. Smaczny. That tomato is tasty.
Tamto zwierzę je mięso.
Zwierzę. That animal. Je mięso. Eats meat. Tamto zwierzę je mięso.
Ja mam tamtą herbatę.
Ja mam tamta. What is it?
Ja mam tamtą herbatę.
Tamtą. I have
Ja mam
tamten. Tamtą.
tamtą herbatę.
Herbatę. I have that tea.
Ja mam tamtą herbatę.
Tamtą herbatę. Ja mam tamtą herbatę.
Lubię tę wodę.
I like this water. Tę wodę.
Piję tę herbatę.
Piję tę. Piję.
Piję tę herbatę.
Okay, I think it's I drink this tea. Tę herbatę. Piję tę herbatę. I'm drinking this tea. That boy is drinking tamto. Oh, this is boy. Tamten, I think. Boy is chłopiec. Chłopiec. Is drinking. Pije. Tamten chłopiec pije.
Tamta ryba je kanapkę.
Je kanapkę. Sandwich. That duck, fish, is eating a sandwich.
Pijesz tamtą kawę.
Pijesz. You are drinking
Pijesz tamtą kawę.
tą kawę. Kawę, probably accusative with the nasal. Oh, good. Tamtą kawę. What's the gender? Feminine, I guess. We have that soup. Supa. Zupę. Tamtę zupę. Mamy tamtę nasal zupę. Tamtą zupę. All right. Difference in the ending vowel in these words, though they agree grammatically. Tamta kobieta pije sok. That woman drinks juice. We like. Lubimy. This mouse. Mysz. But what's the marker going to be like this? This mouse. Ten. Mysz. Lubimy. Ten mysz. That apple. Jabłko. This one's neuter. Tamto jabłko. Jabłko. Is neuter. Je smaczne. Jest smaczne. Doesn't eat. Smaczne. With an N, not a B. Wow. Okay. I made some mistakes. Super. All right. Maybe a smidge of French next. So I started studying. I haven't studied it continuously. I first started learning French 26 years ago. Where are you? Must have passed it. Okay. At work. Oh my, we're not very far into this French course. Look at that, 9 checkpoints. Le stylo.
Le,
Let me not hurry too much. Ordinateur, l'ordinateur.
L'ordinateur.
mon ordinateur est très intelligent.
My computer is very intelligent. La lettre.
La lettre.
Sur la table.
On the table.
Le stylo est sur la table.
Le stylo est sur la table.
J'écris une lettre.
I'm writing a letter.
Les lettres sont sur la table.
The letters are on the table.
J'écris un livre.
J'écris, a cute accent, un livre. I'm writing a book. Oops. Tu as la lettre pour Hélène? Do you have the letter for Helen? Oui, elle est sur l'ordinateur. It's on the computer. Il y a 3 stylos. There are 3 markers, pens.
Stylo. J'écris beaucoup.
I write a lot.
Heure. Heure.
J'écris avec un stylo.
Write with a pen. J'aime lire tes lettres. Elles sont. So, because
Elles,
letters is
lettres.
feminine noun and it's plural, our adjective is going to agree with the
Elles.
pronoun here and also be feminine plural, es. Mexican would work grammatically, but it doesn't make as much sense as amusing or fun. Tu veux un stylo? Non, je travaille sur l'ordinateur.
J'écris un livre.
J'écris. I write a book. J'écris un livre. That's what I hear.
J'écris un livre.
What did I get wrong? Who knows? What's it matter? Let's go ahead and finish this one up.
Un email. J'ai un portable.
I guess it's a cell phone. A little after my time. Portable.
Mon portable.
My smell phone. Mon portable.
Tu écris un livre?
Are you writing a book?
Elle écrit un email.
She writes an email. Le par, masculine. That's going to affect the form of the adjective ouvert, ending in T.
Il écrit un email.
Il écrit un email. With a diphthong, which is rare in French.
Elles écrivent des lettres.
In standard French. Elles écrivent des lettres. They, feminine plural, write letters, indefinite amount.
Paul écrit des messages.
All writes messages, maybe like text.
Messages.
Texts.
Ils écrivent un email.
Ils écrivent. They write, plural. Un email. Tu as ton portable? Oui, j'écris un message. Do you have your cell phone? Yes, I'm writing a message.
Et.
Et can be
Et.
this one. Elles sont journalistes? Oui, elles écrivent beaucoup. They write a lot. Tu, un message. Tu écris. You write a message on your cell phone. Tu veux mon ordinateur? Non merci, j'écris avec un stylo. Marc écrit avec un stylo. They, let's make it feminine plural. Elles écrivent. This is of course from the verb scribere. Écrivent. So this V here comes from the old B. Écrivent, and it's an indefinite amount, which is plural, des lettres. You have, tu as, un, Tu as un message. Message. Okay, this one we'll finish. Le téléphone.
Le téléphone.
Interesting that it's masculine.
Mon numéro de téléphone.
Phone. Number. Il est gentil. Elle veut son numéro de portable. He wants his cell number.
J'utilise mon portable.
I use my cell phone.
Tu utilises ton portable?
Do you use your cell phone?
Tu utilises ton téléphone?
Tu utilises ton accent téléphone. Yeah. All right. Silent S. Utilise. It's the agreement ending.
Tu veux venir?
Do you want to come?
Elle veut travailler.
She wants to work.
Nous voulons travailler.
Nous voulons travailler. Sarah, nous allons au cinéma. Je veux venir. I want to come to the movie.
Un numéro.
Number. As-tu mangé avec Paul aujourd'hui? Are you eating with Paul today? Oui. Tu veux venir? Do you want to come?
J'utilise mon ordinateur.
J'utilise mon ordinateur. Tu veux venir au bureau avec moi? Do you want to come to the office with me? Non merci, j'aime travailler à la maison. No, I like to work at home.
J'utilise le téléphone.
J'utilise le téléphone.
Nu. Nu.
Single U sounds like U. Tu utilises, silent S, un ordinateur.
Tu utilises ton téléphone?
Tu utilises ton téléphone. There we go. Agreement. That'll be fun. Present, yes, let's do some more verbs. We speak. English po angielsku. Mówimy. Mu. Accented O sounds like U. V is the stem. N, the person marking ending. Po angielsku. Which looks like an instrumental ending.
Mówimy po polsku.
We speak in Polish, or just Polish. We speak mówimy po polsku I po angielsku.
Mówimy po angielsku.
Mówimy po angielsku. Mówisz. Stem and the ending is sz, retroflex. Po polsku.
One mówią po angielsku.
One mówią. Mówi. I think it's going to be like that. Maybe a J in the spelling. Po angielsku.
One mówią po angielsku.
Angielsku. You speak. Mówisz. Po angielsku I po polsku.
Mówimy po polsku i po angielsku.
Mówimy po polsku I po angielsku. You speak. Mówisz po angielsku.
Starzy ludzie mówią po angielsku.
Starzy ludzie. Old people?
Starzy.
Old people speak, plural, in English.
Mówicie po angielsku.
Mówicie, that's it. The second plural ending. You all. Mówicie. Stem C-I-E.
Mówicie po angielsku.
You all speak English. Angielsku.
Mówicie po polsku.
You plural. Speak Polish.
Te kobiety mówią po polsku.
Te kobiety.
Te kobiety
Ty.
mówią po polsku.
In Polish mówią po polsku. The women speak Polish.
Czy one mówią po angielsku?
Czy one mówią po angielsku? Angielsku. Do they speak English? They speak. One mówią. Wią po angielsku.
Mówicie po angielsku i po polsku.
You plural speak English and Polish. The old people, starzy. Well, that's weird, thank you. We can't. Starzy, star Z. So the R and the Z represent a single consonant, ż. Starzy. Ludzie. Speak, mówią. Wią. Po angielsku. Nice. But let's go on to negation. So
Nie mamy zupy.
we do not have. So nie is a particle. It doesn't inflect, I think. Here's our verb. Stem plus ending. Suppe must be an accusative form. Or it could be a partitive. We don't have soup.
Nie widzimy kawy.
Widzimy, looks like we don't see coffee.
Oni nie widzą zupy.
Oni nie widzą. Widzą is a single letter.
Oni nie widzą zupy.
Zupy. Z-U-P-Y. Oni nie widzą zupy.
Nie widzę dziewczynki.
I do not see the girls. Hello, Levi. Welcome. I don't see girls. The girl. Okay. Accusative, singular. Dziewczynka. Nominative. Dziewczynki. Interesting pattern here. Or is it night? When does evening become night? I have no opinion.
Nie noszę tej koszuli.
Nie noszę tej koszuli. Alright, this is new. What's the verb? Nosz. Stem. So it's an I verb.
Noszę.
I don't wear. Tej koszuli.
Koszuli.
Oh, t-shirt. This shirt. Okay. Accusative. Tej. Looks like tea.
Ci nowi ludzie nie lubią tej kobiety.
Ci nowi ludzie. These new people.
Ci.
Look at that. Stem is T, but it's a C here. Chi is the sound. Ci nowi ludzie. These new people. Nie lubią tej kobiety. That's feminine plural. Don't like these women. This woman. Huh. Interesting. Dziewczynki.
Nie lubię tamtej kobiety.
Tamtej distal kobiety. That woman. I do not like that woman. I do not love this woman. What was that? Kocham. Nie kocham, look at that, with an M. Tej kobiety, looks like a good option here. Smutna, what that means.
Mali chłopcy nie lubią zupy.
Mali chłopcy, this one's small. Small boys do not like soup. Don't like soup. We do not see. Nie widzimy kawy. Nie widzimy kawy.
Nie lubisz tej koszuli?
Do you like these koszuli? Don't you like? Negative question. Don't you like this
Koszuli.
koszuli shirt? Koszuli. So I guess the nominative would be koszula. SZ for the retroflex. Let's search koszula. Kasula, cloak. Koshulia, Proto-Slavic. Article of clothing. Casa, a little house, a little cottage is the meaning. What a cool original meaning for a piece of clothing. Kasula. Where does casa come from anyway? How does it have an intervocalic S? Isn't that odd? It shouldn't. Possibly from cut, link, or weave together, or kit, hut, shed. Mazanderani. Likely through borrowing from another Indo-European language rather than inheritance due to the presence of the medial S. Yeah, a Latin word ordinarily does not have that, but there's exceptions. I do not wear, what's that? Nie noszę tej koszuli. I do not see, nie widzę dziewczynki. The girl, not this girl. And that's a wrong, that's not even a verb. Nie widzę dziewczynki. We do not like that woman. Nie lubię tamtej kobiety. There it is. Nie lubię tamtej kobiety. Do not hear. Słyszę. Nie słyszę dziewczynki. Nie słyszę. This woman does not like that coffee. Nie lubi tamtej kawy. Number one, that's pretty good. Ta kobieta nie lubi tamtej kawy. We do not know. That says nie znamy tamtej dziewczynki. Looks perfect.
Nie widzę dziewczynki.
I don't see the girl, singular.
Nie noszę tej koszuli.
Nie noszę tej koszuli. I don't wear this shirt. Is the meaning.
Ci nowi ludzie nie lubią tej kobiety.
Ci nowi ludzie, these new people, do not like this shirt. New people don't like this shirt. Accusative. Not a shirt, a woman.
Ci nowi ludzie nie lubią tej kobiety.
Kobiety. These new people don't like this woman. Okay. Well, I should do Korean. I need to step it up because I might be called on to teach Korean before long. And I just hope people don't mind seeing the same languages here over and over out of the 40. I guess they'll just have to deal. Clothing seems to be a good topic for this evening. 바지.
바지.
바지 for pants. One piece 치마. Suit. 양복. Yeah.
양복.
West foreign clothes. 바지 one piece.
보라색인 양복.
보라색이 양복. 색인. Okay. Purple. Sounds awesome actually. A purple suit.
원,
Dress one piece.
원피스.
치마.
치마. 바지 또는 치마.
바지 또는 치마. 또는 또 또는 what's 또 on its own? I forget. Pants or skirt.
치마 두 벌,
치마 두 벌. Some kind of counter word, which we'll leave untranslated anyway. The meaning seems to be two skirts. By the way, I learned something really fascinating about Korean measure words today.
셔츠와 치마,
셔츠와 치마. Shirt and skirt, these English words being related.
옷이 있어요.
옷이 있어요. Do you have clothes? Nah, not me, man. I'm good.
소가 원피스를 입습니다.
소가, the cow, 원피스를 입습니다. Cow wears a dress.
할아버님께서 원피스를 입고 계세요.
할아버님께서 honorific subject marker 원피스를 입고 계세요. Alright, the measure words. So, you know how we have the allomorphs, 둘 variants and two. You know about this alternation? What do you think is the rule here? When do we get two instead of 둘? 할아버님께 grandpa 원피스를
할아버님께서
Alright, grandpa wears a dress. Is wearing. Yeah, let's say is wearing because that corresponds to the Korean verbs. Is wearing a one-piece dress.
그는 바지를 안 입어요.
바지를 안 입어요. And this root, this 입다 verb is exceptional in not leniting the B. It doesn't change it to a W or U here. 입어요. 그는 바지를. He is wearing, he's not wearing trousers. Pants.
한국에서 사람들이 한복을 입어요.
We have the distinction. Okay. So we say 사람 두 명, but not 둘명. If we're counting though, 하나, 둘, 셋, etc. Let's see. To say 2 hours, yes. So the L in this case will go, MW being a measure word. Before a measure word, you lose that last sound. So we can generalize. 하나 will lose its A. 둘 will lose its L. 셋 will lose its consonant at the end, written S. 넷 will also lose that same consonant. And the only other number that does it, numeral that does it, I think, is 스물. So the rule is drop the last segment in these numeral words. Now the interesting thing that I saw today was, now you can do this in Chinese too, and I think Japanese. If you're not sure about the exact amount, you can list multiple numerals. So it'll be 2 or 3 people coming. We will say two, like a comma there, 2 or a slash mentally, 두, 세 명. Right? So what's special about that? This shows it's not a phonological rule. 한국에서 사람들이 한복을 입어요. In Korea, people wear 한복. Hanboks. It feels weird to pluralize hanbok. It's not, what I want to show is not 둘, 세 명. This means 2 or 3 people. 2, 3 people. Whereas to say 23 people, that'll be 스물 세 명. And not 스무 세 명. Actually, 스무 세 we can regard as a single word. There wouldn't be a space in Korean. So disregard that. It's not shimul, but sumul is what it should be. Sumul. In the upper one. 23 people, 23명.
한복과 양복.
한복과 양복. Time for Korean keyboard. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think would be the rule? What's your hypothesis there?
한복과 양복.
한복과 양. So Korean clothing and foreign clothing. 한복과 space 양복. 한복과 양복. 한복 and the suit.
한복을 입어보세요.
한복을 입어보세요. Try wearing a hanbok. Or just wear a hanbok. Try on. That's a good way to say it. Try it on.
양복 6벌.
여섯 벌. This numeral yosot 6 has a coda but doesn't drop it. It's specific to certain numerals. 양복 여섯 벌. 6 suits.
파란 치마와 하얀 셔츠.
파란 치마와 하얀 셔츠. 치마, purple skirt, and 하얀 셔츠, white shirt. Okay, I'll be here Koreanizing. Oh, blue, 파란, blue. One of the 보라 is purple. 파란, blue, and 하얀, white.
돼지는 셔츠 한 벌이 있어.
돼지는, is that the pig? 돼지. No. No, okay. 셔츠 한 벌이 있어. The pig has just one shirt.
저 여자가 하얀 원피스를 입어요.
There is cha just as one word. It's not I, but the distal pointing word. That 여자가, that woman, 하얀 원피스를 입어요. That woman wears a 하얀 white dress. That woman over there, that young woman.
그의 옷이 싸요.
그의 옷이 싸요. 그의 옷이, so are his clothes cheap?
파란 치마와 하얀 셔츠.
The blue skirt 와 and 하얀 셔츠, a white shirt. 두 명, 세 명. First 명 drops. Yeah, that's one way to regard it in 2-3. Do you mean 23? The 스물 is never touching the measure where it stays in the way. So the L, yeah, that segment L has no reason to. Yeah, it's a good way to think about it. It's only if how to put it. Yeah, it is hard to express. If the numeral is itself whole and occurring in conjunction with a measure word, it doesn't have to be right next to it, but notionally, it's like on the surface. Notionally, it is next to. So it's governed, I suppose, would be one word we could use. Governed by a measure word, even if it's not expressed right next to it. So an important difference there. How about the number phrase has to be complete? Well, that's a good way to put it too. Before the final sound drops in those numerals where it does. Yeah. Yeah, good way. Let's do another Korean clothing unit. 신발.
신발,
신발.
분홍색 운동화,
분홍색 운동화. I'm saying tennis shoe, sports shoe.
운동화,
Sneakers, a good word. 분홍색 운동화. 분홍색 pink sneaker or sneakers.
구두,
구두 shoe.
양말과 운동화,
양말과 운동화. Socks and sneakers.
신발을 신어보세요.
신발을 신어보세요. 신다, I think. I forget. To wear on the feet. This is one of the rare Korean verb roots that ends in a single nian. So it's weird to see shina as a verb stem, but there it is. 신어보세요. Try to put on. Try on 신발을, the shoes.
구두 10짝,
구두 10짝. Oh, nice measure word there. 10 shoes.
운동화 3짝,
짝, right? 10, say, 3 sneakers. 두, 세, 스물, 세. So note that it's 스물 with the vowel, straight line. 스물 세 명. Delete from the end of the numeral phrase. Delete, I don't quite follow there. 명 deletes from the end. What is it that deletes? Are you using delete intransitively or transitively?
운동화 3짝,
세짝. 운동화.
운동화,
세짝.
3짝,
3 sneakers. The girl wants to fly. Oh, how do we say? 싶어요. 날아 싶어요? 날고. Yeah, 날고 싶어요. 여자아이가
여자아이가
날고
날고
flying she desires. 싶어요. 싶어해요.
싶어해요.
Works. 슬퍼해요.
할머니께서 양말하고 신발을 신으세요.
할머니께서 honorific subject 양말하고 신발을 신으세요. Interesting. 신으세요. Say subject honorific.
할머니께서 양말하고 신발을 신으세요.
신으세요.
할머니께서 양말하고 신발을 신으세요.
The H deleting, the L is now intervocalic. 양말하고 신발을 신으세요. Grandmother wears 양말하고 신발, socks and shoes. The final segment deletes only at the end of the... Okay, I suppose the numeral phrase. So if you distinguish a numeral phrase as distinct from a quantifier phrase or something, what you have in round brackets, if you call that the numeral phrase, you could. What would be your term for this whole phrase then? Something like 투명. What would you call that thing with a measure word in it?
귀여운 양말 한 짝.
귀엽다 is to be cute. 귀여운 add nominal form. 양말 한 짝, one cute sock. Wow. Oh, and let's add Korean to today's list. Negations.
Nie mam psa.
Alright. Do not have. Psa would be a dog. I don't have a dog.
oni nie mają kota.
Oni nie mają kota. Kota. Su and quantifier phrase, yeah, or an M-word phrase. That's a good question, yeah. Since Korean is very consistent in being head final, I do believe that the classifier, the measure word, is the head. An MW phrase works for me. Does seem to govern the numeral. Oni nie mają kota. So they don't have a cat.
One nie słyszą konia.
Oni nie słyszą. They don't hear konia, the horse. Konie, with that special N character, versus accusative konia. They don't hear the horse.
Oni nie widzą tego konia.
Tego konia, this horse. They don't see this horse.
Nie widzę tego kota.
But let's think about Vietnamese. Where does the classifier go in a quantifier phrase? Have we seen that yet? Một cái cả. Same order. Numeral, measure. So Korean. Vietnamese seems less consistent in its phrase structure.
Nie widzę tego kota.
Nie widzę. Widzę
Nie widzę tego kota.
tego kota. That cat. This cat. Nie widzę. I don't see tego kota.
Nie lubię tego mężczyzny.
Nie lubię tego mężczyzny. I don't like this man.
Nie widzę tamtego mężczyzny.
Mężczyznę. Nie widzę tamtego mężczyznę. I don't see the singular, that man. I don't see that man. I do not have a dog. Nie mam psa. Nie mam psa.
Nie widzę tego psa.
I don't see this dog. This go is quite interesting. This go ending, tego. I do not know this dog. Nie znam, right? Ja nie znam tego psa.
Nie słyszę tamtego kota.
Słyszę. Nie słyszę tamtego kota. I don't hear that cat. We do not have a horse. Nie mamy konia. Nie mamy konia. There it is. I do not like this man. Nie lubię this man. What was it? Mężczyznę. Tego mężczyznę. Nie lubię tego mężczyznę. They do not see. Oni nie widzą this horse. Tego konia. There it is. Widzą tego konia. I do not hear that cat. Nie słyszę tamtego kota. Nie słyszę tamtego kota. You do not know. Znasz. Znam, going to be znasz. Nie znasz. Nie. Zna, the stem. Sh, the ending. That man. Tamtego mężczyzna. Mężczyzny. With a dot. Ch. Those are all retroflex. Czyzny. Tamtego mężczyzny. They do not hear the dog. Oni nie słyszą. SZ, right? Słyszą. S, w, s, z for sure. The dog. Psa. Oni nie słyszą psa. Very fun. Enjoying this. This is not, yes. Gnos is not a word. Jnana. But yes, gignosko for the Greek. I'll transliterate. Gi, present stem. Gnosko. Gignosko. Gignoskes. The root is that middle one, and it's reduplicated in the present. We do have gnosis as a derived noun. It's got a long O, omega. Agreement, always good. We'll practice. First, read a few tips. Nah, not me. Un garçon américain. What I enjoy the most is figuring out the rules for myself. And with French, I've learned enough to cover this bit of grammar so far, I think. But I'm happy to be shown to be wrong. Un garçon américain. No suffix added. Masculine singular. Agnosia. Very good. There's a nice compound of that one. I'd never heard it pronounced. It's a medical condition, kind of an unfortunate one. Can you guess what it means from the spelling? So either prosopagnosia or prosopagnosia. I don't know.
Une.
More of what we call an I word. You see it more than you hear it. Une fille, this one's feminine, singular, has the final E. Américaine. Cool if we could do a lesson on ancient Greek grammar sometime. I just don't think it makes a very good entertaining stream. But if you wanted to work through, say, the Greek New Testament, which you have, if you wanted to look at a sentence or two sometime, you just put it in. I'm not going to refuse. We can do that.
Français, française, française.
Not much of a sentence. Français, française. And what's going on here is quite interesting. A final consonant is very likely to drop in French. There's a few exceptions. But here, when we add the E suffix,
Française.
that allows the S, it's now between vowels, and it's going to be heard as a voiced Z, and then that final vowel can drop after that, française. So the one that ends in the written form in a consonant letter phonetically ends in a vowel. The one that ends in a vowel letter phonetically ends in a consonant. Un garçon mexicain. Language roots, stream. All right, you've come to the right place. Let's do it. Mexican. So garçon, let's talk about roots. This fille, which means girl or daughter, I'll use capital letters for Latin, filium, meaning daughter, which comes from the root of sucking or suckling, I believe. Sophie est mexicain. No need for caps there. Mexicain. Let's look up garçon real quick. It might be from Basque or something cool like that. I don't think it's from Latin. It's probably Germanic, though. Looked it up before and forgotten. Just for roots in general, this Wiktionary is a great resource. O is this, pro is front, I think. Is this face blindness? Yes, face blindness is the meaning. Yes, you've got it. Inability, an acquired one, an inability to recognize faces, which is a pretty creepy thing to suffer from, if you think about it. The only way you recognize people you know is by their voice, and no longer by their faces. Garkio, rakio. So Frankish, the language is no longer spoken, but it's left a lot of traces in French. It's one of the Germanic family of languages. The tribes were wandering all over the place in medieval Europe, and there were a lot of Franks who displaced the Celts of Celtic Gaul. And then, well, let's see, I don't know when the Franks actually got there. It may have come into the country after they were already speaking Latin and switched over to Latin and then adopted the Latin themselves. Not too knowledgeable about that. By their hairstyle. Oh, interesting. That's fascinating. That's handled in a different part of the brain from the face. Garçon. So a R cluster comes out as gare, ultimately, in French. And a K becomes S, written with C, city. Okay, back to the French lesson. Let's spot some more roots. Most of the words of French and the Romance languages go back to Latin, but by no means all of them. The Romance languages, what they are, is Latin 2,000 years later, with a bunch of changes accumulated. Julia est anglaise. Anglais from name of a region and a tribal name.
Américaine, américain.
From the name of Amerigo Vespucci, this one.
Américaine, américain.
So feminine first here. Américaine, américain. Une femme intelligente. This word has an interesting root. Okay, all of these go back to Latin. Une and un go back to the numeral unum. Okay, Pro Gamer says, especially the evolution of roots through the various language branches is fun too. Yeah, I agree. So here, unum, the masculine, gives French un. It loses the syllable. Unam, feminine. V and U are the same thing in Latin. So they had just one letter form. The survives a bit longer in French, gives a schwa, which then drops later, une, and that changes the quality of the vowel there. These are the numeral word. They come from Indo-European oinos, etc., other endings too. Indo-European being highly inflected, meaning varying the suffix to show grammatical info. Now, femme, it's written with E, but it's pronounced with A, comes from feminam. So what else do we have in English from this? Feminine, of course, that derivative. Has lost a syllable. Comes from hominem, which didn't mean man, it meant human in Latin, but it narrowed its meaning, just like our word man did. Man used to be more general in English, meaning human person, since come to mean primarily the male variety. Intelligent, intelligent, is an Old Latin compound. Intel, the L here is the adaptation of the R of inter and legere. Reading between, was it? No, I was wrong about this before. Legere, was that to bind? There's a few similar sounding roots here. Intelligo. Intelligere. Okay, this doesn't tell me the origin. But the meaning is intellego. To care between. Lego care. So Proto-Italic is a reconstructed ancestral stage from which Latin comes. And the inter meaning between, as shown there, between, which is where we get that first component in international. Il est intelligent. So this il, human, is not related to man. The word, no, it's not. Humus. Humus meaning the soil, I think, as in humble and so on. Be the root of humanus. The earthling is the meaning of human, the root meaning. Il in French comes from the pointing word of Latin, ille, illum. That one over there. Comes from the verb est. The spelling has stayed the same, but the sound has changed. The Indo-European form was es or s. To be, to become. Pole amusant. I think the root here would be the muses, but I'm not sure. Amuser. Amuser meaning stare stupidly at, of uncertain and obscure origin. The a is a directional word. Amusant. Ma mère est contente. Feminine. So con, this is the prefix meaning together with or completeness. The N is there because it agrees in place with the T, the N and T made in the same part of the mouth. And the root here, I think, is hold. To hold together is content. I believe. Un vélo vert. Vélo
Vélo.
is short. The bike is short for vélocipède. It means swift foot, I think. Let's check that, though. I've been wrong before.
Vélo.
Pretty
Vélo.
sure it's related to velocity and all those. Vélocipède. Which is now dated. Called a clipping. Yes, rapid foot is Waylock's pace. Kind of a cool name for a bike, a swift foot. Look at this nice old velocipede. That's a paddling. Une voiture, that's feminine, as we can tell from the letter E here, and the adjective is going to agree. Le chat est masculine et petit ou grand. Where does petit come from? We have the word petty also. Petty and petite are what we call doublets, reborrowings of the same word. Petit comes from petitus from the 8th century. Well, that's when it's attested. It doesn't mean that it arose from the ground there. Latin pitinus, pitulus, possibly from Celtic or Frankish. Well, that's pretty cool. So the Celtic languages, that's a branch of Indo-European too. Very few survive: Irish, Scottish, Welsh. Frankish, as we saw, Germanic. And pequeño, it says, is related. So that's kind of odd that you get a k corresponding to a t. Petitus. Reconstructed. Uncertain, possibly Proto-Celtic bikos. So that would connect it to bug in Gaelic. Alliteration of TTCC, also possibly due to the influence of paucus. That is a good explanation. La maison, this maison for house has the same root as mansion. Those are doublets. Mansio is the Latin. From maneo, to remain, to stay in a place. So the mansion is the place where you stay. La maison, feminine, est grande.
Vert, verte.
Green, green. Le parc, where does parc come from? Est petit, masculin. All the languages have it nowadays, this park word. Where does it come from? Was there an Old French parricus, enclosure? From Frankish, parric. How does a Germanic word have a P initially? That's odd. Of uncertain origin, according to Watkins, my man, cognate with barra for barrier, or possibly Iberian. Meaning Celtic or what? The Iberian language was the language of an indigenous Western European people. Okay, so non-Celtic. Speaking of roots, some of these roots go outside of the Indo-European family. La serveuse, the serveuse, servant, from an old word for slave in Latin, servus. Oh, this is Wikipedia, wrong resource. Servus. Possibly from ser, meaning watch over, protect. Servus, guardian. Serveuse. Iberian is from pre-IE days, yes. There's also a language or a group of languages known as Celtiberian, meaning varieties of Celtic from that peninsula. Let's continue on the theme of roots, but go back to Polish. Polish is from the Slavic branch of Indo-European. Levi and I were discussing that zna word for no, that's cognate with no. Let's see what else we see.
Mój pies.
Yes. Yes for dog. This looks like it means my dog.
Mój.
To jest wasz pies.
Wasz. So jest, there is this Polish word jest, P-O-L, jest, comes from that same S root of being there. Same form, est. It just develops that glide. Is Basque descended from the Iberian languages? I don't believe so. But let's see what this article says. Not this article. Iberian. The Iberian language, like all the other Paleo-Hispanic languages, except Basque, became extinct. That's not what we want to know. Links with other languages have been suggested, especially the Basque. Okay, so some people suppose it may be connected, but doesn't seem to be the consensus here. To jest wasz pies means this is a something dog.
Wasz.
Your. Look at that. Wasz, your. Maybe your plural? This is your dog. Does it mean y'all's dog?
Wasz.
Mój kot je mięso.
Mój kot. Mój kot. Je. This one, je, means eats. It's related to Latin edere, from Indo-European ed. And our word eat also comes from there. Mój kot je mięso. Mięso. This mięso is connected to Latin member, membrum, muy, okay, accented. My cat is eating meat. And this has a Sanskrit cognate to mansa, for meat. It's an old word.
Twój kot jest mały.
Tvui, this would be the singular thy word. Tvui. So this would go back to Indo-European tu or tu, meaning you, thou, is from that, it's related. Your cat, jest. This is to be mały, small. Okay,
Nasz koń jest duży.
Nash must be our. Our horse is duży, big. Let's look at this duży. What is connected to it outside of Polish? Duży in Slavic. Daugias. Duž meaning strong. Huh? Strong or big.
Wasz koń je pomidory.
So wash and nash, these go back to the pronoun stems wes, meaning we, and nos, nes or nos, I think, for, oh, sorry, that's wrong. Wes is you, and nes, nos is we. What is this letter N-A-G about? It's palatalized. Enya. So if it's in the middle of a word, like we have a suffix a on there, you'll write N-I-A, konya. But you won't write N-I if you just have a one-syllable word. So the acute accent sort of represents the I coloring of the consonant. Konya. Which most European languages, this nya don't allow as the final sound in a word. But Hungarian does. So this vash will be your horse eats, plural, tomatoes. Your tiger. Twój tygrys.
Mój kapelusz.
Twój kapelusz. Hat? My hat?
Kapelusz.
Oh, speaking of that prosopagnosia or whatever, this Latin phrase, which we've adopted in English, do you know what it means? Our dog. So it's going to be nasz pies, je mały. Nasz pies, jest, not yet. Jest mały. Our dog is small.
Twój pies je ser.
Twój pies. I think that V written W, D voices here.
Twój pies je ser.
Sounds like TF. Twój pies je ser. eats cheese. Your dog eats cheese. Dramatic person. Look at the endings. It is not legalese, it is theaterese. Person would be persona. It's a feminine noun. Feminine A stem. My hat. Mój kapelusz.
Twój koń je ciasteczka.
Twój koń. Your horse eats cookies. I think it's plural. Is it singular?
Ciasteczka.
Cookies, cookies, cookies. My cat. Mój kot je mięso. Your dog is eating meat. To translate the word dramatis here, you have to know that it's a Greek noun and the stem ends in the T. Your dog is eating meat. Gosh. Oh, it's the cast list. Yes, it means characters, persons of the drama. And in Greek, it's a very nice phrase, which I will show you. Anyone will do. We'll just do it in all caps. Please. Yeah, I think that's actually not the etymology, but it looks like that. Persona. I think that's what we call a folk etymology, where the popular imagination takes it one way, but it's not necessarily true. Let's look it up. It's a great resource. As I said, persona. The vowel length is not quite right if it were really sona. I think the word sound has a long O, but this one is short. Latgalian. Never heard of it. Etymology unknown. Links have been suggested. Etruscan fersu, which some have referred to Perseus. Persono, to sound through. Okay, but notice short and long O. Okay, I think I got it backwards just now. Persona. This one, the word for person has persona. That one has the long one. And sonare, from swen, is the root, has a short vowel. I mean, it's possible that you have vowel length alteration. I sound, I ring. We have resound from this root. But be cautious there. So Levi, can you transliterate that Greek phrase that I input there? Your dog is eating meat. Dog's pies. So it could be twój pies je mięso. Looks perfect. So now, to which the sound goes. I think this persona originally referred to the mask, and later to the character, and then person in grammar, and person more generally. Dignity. It's a nice development. This looks like it's chronological too, in sense development. Starting out meaning mask, hence a character in a play. Character in the drama of language, the grammatical person. So this meaning would be older than the general one. Gender too comes from grammar and then develops other meanings in the popular speech. Fersu, this is pretty cool, from Perseus. Some have connected it to this Greek noun, prosopon, which meant face. Ta tu dramatos prosopa. Yes, so the structure is quite interesting. Ta is the, neuter plural, and then within that, a genitive phrase. The of the drama, persons, faces, masks. So it's what I call a sandwich structure. You have one noun phrase inserted into the middle of a longer one, or another one. Ta tu dramatos prosopa. So you get those two definite articles right next to each other. Kind of cool. Latin didn't have articles, so it just omits them. Dramatis personae. Personae, rather. Your horse. So konie je частечка. Wash works. Your plural. Wasz koń je ciasteczka. Our cat. Nasz kot lubi, loves. That's not it. It was an N root, right? Kocha. Food was jedzenie. Accusative. Jedzenie. Root je of eating. Maybe yeds. This could be part of the root too, because it was an ed root in Indo-European. Jedzenie. Nasz kot kocha jedzenie. So kocha looks like German for cooking. It means to love. And I suspect that's connected to the Kama, meaning love, of Kama Sutra. Our horse, nasz koń, koń, is, jest. Big is, duž is the stem. What's the ending? Duž, which I guess means it's masculine. Nasz koń jest duży. Duży. So Levi, can you tell us what is the grammatical gender of ta prosopa? Let's do some Korean again. Pro gamer, what languages are you most interested in though? I'm happy to do any and all of them. Forgive me if I've asked you before and forgotten. I have not such a great memory for that kind of information. That would be 모자.
모자, 안경.
안경, glasses.
가면은 무서워요.
가면. 무서워요. 무섭다.
가면은
Okay. Oh, speaking of masks. Hello. Okay.
무서워요.
가면. All right. I don't think I've seen this now before, but from the meaning and the phonetic shape, I suspect it's going to be Sino-Korean, meaning false face. 가면.
가면은
Hold this in my notes here, even though it's clear what language it's got out. Guessing it is feminine because it ends with ah. We don't really know the Greeks. It is not feminine. What would your second guess be? I'll give you best 2 out of 3. I think that's an LOL face, or is it a scratch my chin? All right, LOL. Mask false face. 가면은 무서워요. What is 무섭다?
무서워요.
Scary.
가면은 무서워요. 무서워요.
This verb. So it must be an intransitive one. X is scary. Yes, that's it. Neuter plural. So recall, Levi, that in Indo-European, the articles were so, sa, tud. And that's masculine, feminine, neuter. So, sa, tud. And that gives in ancient Greek, ho, he, to. The S is there only in the nominative in those two genders, only nominative singular. Everywhere else in the paradigm, it's a T initial, with 1 or 2 exceptions. 가면은, the mask is scary. 무서워요.
누가 가면을 써?
누가, who, 가면을 써. Who's wearing a mask? 가면. Yes, it sure does. I kind of like that. Of course, each one has so many words, there's likely to be some overlap. It's always kind of cool to see what the evening brings. So who's wearing, this is 판말. Who wears a mask?
아름다운 모자를 사주세요.
아름다운, 아름답다 would be the verb root, I think. Well, minus 다. 모자를 사주세요. Buy for me. Buy me a something hat.
아름다운,
Give me a beautiful hat. Sada? Yeah. Good. So the for me is by me is not that meaning is not indicated with a pronoun in Korean, but with this second verb root here. You can regard it as a suffix, but it's related to the verb of giving. Buy, give me, but really because of the order of the heads, the phrase order in Korean, 주 is, I think, really the top verb, the one that's being inflected. Give me in a buying manner. Give me the buying of a beautiful hat.
아름다운 가면,
아름다운 가면, a beautiful mask. I'm just going to word bank it.
아름다운 가면,
뱀이 검은 모자를 쓰고 있어.
뱀이 검은 모자를 쓰고 있어. Is wearing. The snake is wearing a black hat. So can either of you, if you know Hanja, can you find the ones for this false face word? Mask, 가면.
아름다운 여자는 안경을 써요.
아름다운 여자는 안경을 써요. So this saw verb, 쓰다, I think. Here it's the one that means wear tightly on the body, like you do glasses. The beautiful woman is wearing glasses.
너는 모자를 써.
Do something for someone. 해주세요, exactly, as in making a request. That is it. Please do something. Give me the doing, is how I would take it literally, because the object precedes the verb in Korean. Give me the doing of. There we go. I think so too. Let's find out. So in the meaning of false, it's third tone in Mandarin. 假面, false face. Let's see if that's it. Okay, need to zoom out a bit. Facade, 假面. Mask, facade, false front. Kamen in French, in Japanese. Kamyon. So it's the unmarked stop in both languages, but we transliterate with K for Japanese, G for Korean. And za yen, I guess, in Vietnamese. Za yen. This is one of the weird ones. You have an M of Chinese reflected by a D in Vietnamese. Letter D, I think pronounced Y. Za yen. 너는 모자를 써. 너는. So that I always have to think for a second about who 너 refers to. It means you. Are you wearing a hat? 반말. And since you mentioned roots, it's always fun to trace Korean words to their roots too. More and more coming from English. 모자 and 가면 and so on. A huge number from Chinese. 모자 will be, what's the tone? 帽子, 帽子. The character has the cloth radical, and then it's A, B, U. There it is. Let's look up the tone. I forget. 보시 in Japanese, with a B for an M. 帽子, falling tone.
가면 뒤에 있는 사람은 누구예요?
뒤에 있는, being behind? Is that this 뒤? 뒤에 있는 사람은 누구예요? Who is the person? Okay, who is it? The person having a mask
뒤에.
behind. Who is the person behind the mask? Whew. A little bit of a mind bender there, coming from English word order. behind the mask. So, the way I like to mark phrase structure is with brackets to sort of make the structure pop out. Square ones for noun phrases. 가면. This we could regard as a complex noun phrase. At the rear of a mask, 있는 being, existing in a place. 사람 is a noun, and the particle goes with it, and all this is there together. This is the subject noun phrase. The person, being, behind the mask. 누구예요? This is our verb, which has 누구, a pronoun, which is a kind of nouny thing, within it. 누구예, the yo is not really part of the verb, but always written together. The verb is just 예, from ida, to be. As for the person behind the mask, who is it?
안경이 어디에 있어요?
안경이, not topic, subject. 어디에 있어요? Where do they exist? Where are the glasses? Who is the person behind the mask? Yes, we did. Yeah, basically the same word, etymologically. Who is the person behind the persona? Good point, yeah. What's behind in Latin? Retro. So you could punningly put that persona word in there for both. It has both meanings. That's how easily confused we humans are. Something that means a mask in one century, later on will mean the whole character, the whole person. You guys know this word? It's a lovely term for this kind of a shift in meaning. The word, what it means, and how it breaks down. How to be a real person. Genuine fake. Bravo. Genuine fake and not the fake genuine. It's like the known unknowns and the unknown knowns. Puts the sick in paradoxical. Let's do a bit more Polish. Learning a lot today. Possession.
Moja herbata.
Okay, feminine noun class. Put that traditional a, very stable throughout the family. Herbata. As you can see, it's a maybe herba, the Latin word for herbs, or herbs, as some people say in English, means tea, the herbid one, my tea.
Wasza mysz pije wodę.
Okay, I always want to confuse, I see the W when I think of we, but this means you, plural. Your mysz, your mouse drinks water. So mysz and mouse, those are related, inherited words. Pije is also a huge family of words. It's widespread in Indo-European. Drinks. So, beber, bibere, in Latin, the voice. There's P voices to a B. Pibati in Sanskrit is drinks. Now, vode, usually it's a neuter noun, but in Polish it has become feminine. So, vodka, we have from Russian, that's more closely related. No longer means water. It meant, though, as far as its structure, the little water, something like that. Woda is the Polish singular nominative. Nom, sing. And that is, well, as the spelling suggests, it's the word water. So, the root in Indo-European was basically wed, and you could sometimes get an O taken the place of an E. So, wod is reflected in both the Polish and the English words. The e vowel quality survives in our word wet, I think. Maybe not directly. Kaczka, duck. Jest smaczna. I think it's going to be moja. My duck is tasty. So in this, it's really nice when this happens that the noun has a gender marker a, and the adjective smaczna, and the possessive, they all have the same sound at the end. All right.
Nasza mała mysz pije wodę.
I have a great New Testament sentence typed out. Bring it on, please. Nasza mała mysz pije wodę. Nasza mała mysz, our small mouse. So for the N, nasza, think of like nuestro, nuestra, and nos in Latin, noster. Kai apokritheis ho basileus erei. I don't know, erei autois. Amen lego humin. Eposon, epoiesate enituon. What is that? Tonadelphon. There's a couple accents missing. A noun like that should have an accent mark. Ton adelphonmu. Ton elakiston. Elakiston. Emoi epoiesate. Okay. Hopus. Is that ho? Is that a rough breathing on the third word? Basileus. Amen lego humin. Truly, verily, I say to you. Eposon, in that way. Epoiesa de epituon, I'm suspicious of. Is this really a word? Epituon. Can you double check that? Sagen in Altgriechisch. Horn. Oh, it's a fusion. Got the wrong accent. Oh, is that a rough breath or a smooth breathing on the upsilon? It's called crasis. Mixing of words. But anyway, I'll tell you what I recognize. Amen lego humin. Verily I say unto you. That I think humin should have a circumflex on the iota. Eposon epoiesate, as you do any unto my brothers. Ton elakiston. Tuton, much better. Yeah, to auton. Thank you. To the least of my brethren, emoi epoiesate, you have done to me. Apokrites hobasileus erei, is that right? I think it's going to be epei. Have you confused pi and rho there? In that fifth word? Can you double check that one, please? Nasza mała mysz pije wodę. Our small mouse. Ooh, our small mouse pije wodę. Drinks water. Word. Ere, I mean, it could be. I just don't recognize it. Hello. Ere with a circumflex. Ereo could be. Tote ere, say. Okay. All right. This form, so I think it should have an accent on it. Looks like it's this third singular form. Or is it an imperative? The king will say. Okay, it's hobasileus. Ere. The king will say. Ere should have a round circumflex on the iota. Do not have a key for that. Oh, that's interesting. Let's take a look there. See what we can do about the key. You might need to click below, go to the ancient Greek one. Yeah, you've got the whole paradigm down here. If you just scroll down a bit on that page. So maybe not a key for it, but you can click these compound characters there. Compound diacritics. Looks like it's the verb of saying, which we have in rhetoric and so on. Apokrites is a present active participle, judging. The king, nominative singular, judging, will say to them, verily I say unto you, eposon, upon as much, I think, as much as you have done unto the least of my brothers, my brethren, you have done unto me. So, whoop. It does not have that one. It has iota brevis. Interesting. No iota with a circumflex. Is that what you are telling me? Do we need to? Is there a special diphthong? Oh, it's got these old obsolete letters too. How cool. Fascinating. It's got... Oh, I bet you if you click an iota... Okay, no. Conversion. Well, I'll be. You must have skipped one there. So maybe, knowing what the meaning is, do you want to try bracketing the noun phrases on a first pass there? So in that word, that second word there, apokrites, that kri is the root of judgment that we have in critic and so on. Oh, krites, that's a passive one, being judged, I think. Apokrites. This looks like a good resource. Bible Hub. What is the difference between the two phis? They look different. As far as their sound or anything like that, I don't know of any. Apokrinomai. Okay, it's a middle voice verb to answer, answering them. Apokrites. Deho. I wish it gave better grammatical info. Eipen gegraptai. Hode apokrites. He answered. For the me, I guess it's not passive, but answering. Okay, we do this.
Wasza kaczka je chleb.
Wasza. Not our, but your, plural. Your kaczka, duck. Je chleb, eats bread.
Nasza mysz je mięso.
Nasza mysz je mięso. Our mouse eats meat.
Twoja mysz je ser.
Look at that. Twoja mysz je ser. Thy mouse eats cheese.
Twoja kawa.
Twoja kawa.
Twoja kaczka je śniadanie.
Twoja kaczka. Your duck eats śniadanie. Breakfast?
Śniadanie.
Your duck is eating your duck is eating breakfast. Noun phrases. Hobasileus. Ere autois. Ton. Okay. Any tuton. Ton adelphon. That one has a bit more in it. That ton adelphon one. Ton, and that next phrase is actually included in that too. Epoiesate is not in a noun phrase. Epoiesate is a verb. Poieo is the present tense. So the root is poie. As in poetry, poet. That is the tense called aorist, and the person is second plural. Aorist is one of the past tenses. It's the unmarked one.
Wasza mała ryba.
Wasza. Not we, but you. Your small fish.
Moja koszula jest duża.
Moja koszula, my shirt, jest duża, is big.
Moja ryba je chleb.
Moja ryba je chleb. My fish is eating bread.
Wasza ryba lubi mięso.
Wasza, your fish, lubi, wasza ryba, lubi mięso, likes meat.
Nasza kaczka lubi wodę.
Nasza kaczka lubi wodę. Our duck likes water.
To jest wasz krab i wasza ryba.
Wasz krab i wasza ryba. To jest, this is. Wasz krab, your crab, I guess. Is that right? Sure looks like
Krab.
that. I think it's a Germanic now. E, and your fish. Your duck, wasza kaczka. Wasza kaczy, retroflex, kaczka is eating śniadanie. So just as the sh is modified to have that palatal quality, when there's no vowel following, śniadanie. Or twoja kaczka je śniadanie. Ton adel pon mu is a noun phrase, but it's not the complete one. There's more to it. Any, unto. This. I think this is the whole noun phrase there. Tu ton adel pon mu ton elakiston. Elakiston. Does it really have omicron omega? That last word? Our mouse, nasha mysz. What's the ending? Nasha. Yeah. Mysz is eating meat. Mięso. Nasza mysz je mięso. Okay. Let's do a bit of French for a breather. Tuton ton aderpon muton elakiston. That looks more what I'm accustomed to, yeah. To these, well, it's governed by a preposition, I think. Any tuton, any is in. Tuton ton aderpon mu, that's a small phrase, of my brothers, of the least of them. Emoi. So emoi is a pronoun. I would regard that as a noun phrase too. Unto me you have done it. And did you include hobasileus? Yes, you did. Okay, so now having picked out the noun phrases, try to tell me their case and number, and gender too if you feel you understand. Or ask and I will tell you. Nah. Okay, le livre, singular, vert. No ending beyond the T. Les livres, plural, sont verts. Same sound, spell with S.
Les restaurants sont petits.
Restaurants are small. Les restaurants sont petits. Le croissant est bon. Les croissants sont bons. Oh, and roots. Bon, of course. Bonum gives bon. That just drops ultimately. And this, yeah, this bonum of Latin, that's the accusative. The older spelling of it was masculine, singular, duenos. It had a dua cluster at the beginning. Duenos or us. I think it in one old inscription from like 5 or so centuries BC, you have the old O preserved in the ending, duenos. So, of the Spanish form, bueno has reverted back to an older diphthong, apparently. Really, dua was a cluster of consonants, whereas the Spanish we is a diphthong. But in terms of spelling, at least, the word has gone from Buenos, two. Bonus. And in Spanish, the Iberian Peninsula, bueno. It's kind of a cool development. These, oh, by the way, croissant has an interesting root. It's the same word, it's a doublet of our word crescent, which is a participle meaning increasing. Ces croissants sont bons. Masculine, plural. Amusant. Ils sont, plural. Un chien blanc, singular. Les vélos sont verts. Le vélo est vert. The bicycles are green. Les femmes, feminine, plural. The breakdown in French, as far as the spelling, is quite logical. After the stem, you can have the feminine gender marker spelled E, or nothing for non-feminine, and you can have a plural marker S, or nothing for singular. Those four logical possibilities, all quite regular.
Les universités sont grandes.
Université.
Les universités sont grandes.
Should be feminine now, no? Université sont grandes. Right? Don't hear the D though. Ma sœur est amusante. We have the feminine marker, E, no S for plural. Feminine, singular. They are funny. Elles sont, feminine, plural. Amusant is the stem. Feminine, plural.
Elles sont petites.
Elles, they, feminine, sont, petits, that's the stem. Feminine, plural. Petite. Elle est contente. Elles sont contentes. La voiture est grande, feminine. If you're in doubt about the noun, the article will let you know. Les filles, so that's feminine plural, sont petites. Mes sœurs sont contentes. Les filles sont bonnes et gentilles. Les filles sont bonnes. What did I do wrong? Huh. Okay, let's do an Esperanto. No, let's do a Klingon today. I like to end with either a Conlang or Yiddish. And we haven't done Klingon in a long time.
Puk.
Children. Puk. The women. The puk is the plural marker. Send you my guess on the Greek later. Consult some charts. Sounds good? Sounds like a winner. Might want to copy that text, put it down somewhere else, and make the correction so you can just have it instantly ready when we continue on that. The women's, this bet, I think. Yeah, and the verb comes first. Bet, now I remember.
Yet. Puk.
Saved, good.
Yet. Puk.
Does the children walk? Yes, or will walk. There's no tense marking.
Puk. Yet. Bet. Puk.
The women walk.
Bet. Puk.
Will walk. Walked.
Oh, Lord Puk.
The men. Lord Puk. Sleep. The woman sleeps.
Kong.
Be,
Be.
not plural.
Kong load.
Lord. Sleeps, man. The man. I can say the man. Sleeps. Levi said, maybe I know less Greek than I thought. Recognize roots, but that is about it. There's a lot of derivational affixes in Greek, yeah. Very intricate, and a lot of different tenses and aspects to be aware of. I certainly haven't mastered them, but I kind of know my way around. The man, it's not quite as straightforward as Latin really is. Latin is relatively approachable there. Oh Lord, the man slept or sleeps, any tense. Men run. All right, run is cat, I think.
Cat.
Lord Puk.
Lord Puk. Klingon Puk. Yaj load.
Yaj. Lord.
Yaj. Lord.
Okay, I think it's the man fights a Klingon child. Understood. Much better. So subject last here, the man. The verb there before it, yaj, with a zero prefix that is significant. And Klingon pok functioning as a compound or a noun phrase. The child walked. One thing that will help guide you through Greek is those articles. I would recommend mastering the ho, he, to paradigm as a good starting point. Definite article. There is no indefinite one, but there's lots of words that inflect like articles. Determiners. Okay, child walked. Walk is yit.
Yit.
Singular child.
Mara och be pong et.
Oh, bet. The woman's name is Mara. Okay, and the structure is subject here last. Oh, bet. Is that right? Pong et.
Pong et.
What is the et at the end? I think pong by itself is name. The et is some suffix or clitic.
Pong et.
And oh is the copula. Woman name.
Pong
Et go on the possessed
Pong
noun
et.
maybe. Is Mara. Child runs. Pet. Pok.
Puk.
Be yaj torg. Be yaj be mara.
Remember, subject comes there after the verb. So the first one is Torg, a name, understands the woman. Mara, bet, does not, did not understand bet the woman. The man will run. Don't worry about the will part. Run is ket, and man is lord. Ket lord. Kind of fun. Very unusual word order, deliberately chosen for Klingon. Not going to do another 50 points this evening. Okay, well, we're coming up on 2 hours, which is a goodly amount. Let us think about who to raid. Let's find someone to raid today. And then I'll end my stream. Let's see if Evan is live. Looks like not at the moment. Let's see if Evan is live. Let's not listen to me. Someone's doing Italian. Una vita. RMC. Here we go.
The actual content, which is Duolingo practice. So we're gonna go ahead and check this out. Let's see where.
All right, let me say to everyone, 안녕히 계세요. Thanks very much for watching. Come and join us again. Have a good evening. Una vita. RMC.
Okay, here we go. There we go. That's what we want. Right here. This is what we want, guys. Fun facts. Okay. So I have no excuse now. I am extending my accountability to you guys. All right. Call me out from the bleachers if I did not use the accent properly. You're more than welcome to do that. This is also practice for me to develop and understand.